So, you thought Why Marshals was just another gritty Western spin-off? Think again. What if Kayce Dutton's return isn't just about his character, but a calculated power move in a much grander design? Taylor Sheridan might not say much publicly, but the way he writes, that's where the real blueprint lives. And with Why Marshals stepping out of the ranch and into the line of fire, this might not be a side quest. It might be the center of the whole damn game. Buckle up, because if you think this is just about catching criminals, you're only seeing the surface. From open range to unfamiliar terrain, where in the world is Why Marshals taking us? It looks like Kayce Dutton is trading in wide open skies for something a little more unpredictable. Why Marshals isn't just stepping away from the Yellowstone ranch, it's abandoning everything familiar about that world. The rugged landscapes of Montana may be iconic, but Sheridan seems ready to shake the dust off the saddle. So where are we headed? All signs point to a new environment that's less about cattle drives and more about cross-border tension, tactical operations, and law enforcement in the grayest of gray areas. This change in setting isn't just cosmetic, it rewires the DNA of the show. A new location means new rules, new enemies, and new stakes. Sheridan has a knack for making the backdrop a character in itself, and Why Marshals looks like it's swapping silence and sunsets for grit, danger, and blurred moral lines. Whether it's the Texas-Mexico border, cartel territory, or the kind of towns where justice comes slow and violence moves fast, one thing's certain. Kayce is no longer just surviving, he's hunting. And here's the twist. Removing Kayce from the Yellowstone bubble might be the smartest move yet. A new terrain gives his story oxygen. It breaks the cycle of family trauma and places him in a crucible that could redefine who he is. This isn't about saving a ranch anymore. It's about what a man like Kayce becomes when there's no family name to protect and no fences to hide behind. The question isn't where Why Marshals is set, it's who Kayce Dutton becomes once he gets there. Kayce's New Orders, the dangerous mission that changes everything. Kayce Dutton has always lived in survival mode on the battlefield, on the ranch, and in the wreckage of his family's legacy. But now he's not just trying to survive, he's being deployed. In Why Marshals, Kayce's new orders don't come from his father or his instincts. They come from the U.S. government, and they come with a target. This isn't just a shift in job title, it's a full-blown shift in identity. No more herding cattle or covering up family secrets. This time, he's being asked to walk directly into the fire. What makes this mission so dangerous isn't just the criminals he's chasing. It's what the job will cost him. Kayce has always walked a moral tightrope, balancing what's right with what needs to be done. But being a federal marshal, that line gets thinner, bloodier, and a whole lot blurrier. He'll be going after men who operate outside the law, and he may have to step outside it himself to stop them. If Yellowstone was about legacy, Why Marshals is about law and what happens when the two collide. But here's the kicker. Kayce didn't ask for this. So why take the badge? What or who is pushing him into this dangerous new role? Whether it's loyalty, revenge, or some buried sense of justice, one thing is certain, this mission won't just change Kayce's life, it could finally rip him away from the Dutton name for good. Because in this world, once you put on the badge, there's no riding back home. The evolution of Kayce Dutton, from cowboy to cold-blooded marshal. Kayce Dutton has always been the quiet storm in the Yellowstone universe. Soft-spoken, loyal, deadly when he needs to be. But Why Marshals is threatening to pull the last trace of ranch life out of him, replacing it with something far more ruthless. This isn't the Kayce who wrestled with branding irons and family loyalty. This is a man with orders, a badge, and a license to take justice into his own hands. And when the stakes shift from protecting land to hunting criminals, who does Kayce become? This transformation isn't just physical, it's psychological. He's stepping into a world where diplomacy dies fast and hesitation gets people killed. As a cowboy, Kayce followed a code one passed down through blood, bruises, and broken trust. But as a U.S. Marshal, that code gets rewritten by federal law and personal trauma. Can someone who once mourned every life taken turn into someone who pulls the trigger without blinking? And if he can, does he ever come back from that? The real question why Marshals may be asking isn't about crime, it's about identity. How far can a man stretch before he snaps? For Kayce Dutton, this new chapter might not be about becoming a hero, it might be about losing the last piece of his soul to get the job done. And if that's true, then we're not just watching a spin-off, we're watching the rise of someone entirely new. Or maybe someone who was always there, just waiting for the right war. No more campfires, this feels like True Detective on horseback. Forget the slow-burning sunsets and the sound of cattle in the distance. Why Marshals are kicking over the campfire and stomping out the old Western vibe. What's replacing it? Think True Detective with a badge and a bolo tie. The tone has shifted dramatically, trading cowboy nostalgia for gritty, boots-on-the-ground procedural intensity. It's less about branding cattle and more about tracking fugitives. Less family honor, more moral corruption. If Yellowstone was about defending the legacy, this is about confronting the rot just beneath the surface. From the very first shots we've seen or heard about, this series drips with a darker energy. Gone are the wide, romantic vistas, replaced by tighter shots, shadowy environments, and characters who don't trust anyone, even themselves. It's a psychological shift. The violence is still there, but it's not loud anymore. It's calculated, it lingers. Sheridan's world is evolving, and Why Marshals is proof that he's not afraid to push boundaries, even if it means alienating fans who showed up for cowboy charm. But don't mistake this as a complete departure. It's a fusion, one that could redefine the modern Western. Why Marshals still carries the grit of Yellowstone, but it's wrapped in a new kind of suspense. This is noir with spurs, justice with a shadow, and Kayce Dutton may be turning into the kind of lawman who doesn't wear a white hat or a black one, but something in between. This isn't a Western, it's reckoning on horseback. Sheridan's masterstroke. Is this all part of a much bigger game? Taylor Sheridan doesn't just write shows, he builds worlds. And Why Marshals feels less like a simple spin-off and more like the opening move in a far bigger strategy. While most creators are content with sequels or safe expansions, Sheridan plays like a chess grandmaster, positioning his characters across a sprawling map of law, legacy, and lethal consequences. Kayce Dutton's return might seem like fan service on the surface, but what if it's the foundation of an entirely new narrative empire? Take a closer look, and you'll see the threads connecting Yellowstone, 1883, 1923, 4 sixes, and now Why Marshals. Each show isn't just telling a story, it's filling in a piece of a larger mythos, one that spans generations, geography, and genre. By launching a law enforcement-centered series rooted in Kayce's transformation, Sheridan isn't just creating something new, he's pulling the Dutton universe into darker, more complex territory. It's less about ranches now, and more about power, survival, and how justice actually works in his morally gray universe. So what's the end game? Sheridan may be quietly reshaping what a TV franchise can be. Instead of milking one show dry, he's constructing a living, breathing saga where characters shift roles, tones evolve, and no one's fate is guaranteed. Why Marshals could very well be the turning point, the series that connects the dots and resets the board. And if that's true, then we're not just watching another season. We're witnessing the next chapter in a master plan that's only just beginning to reveal itself. If Why Marshals is the next piece on Sheridan's chessboard, you can bet the king's not far behind. Every new character, every setting shift, every decision Kayce makes could all be part of a bigger, bolder blueprint that turns the Yellowstone universe inside out. So before you write this off as another Western procedural, ask yourself, what's the move after this one? Because Sheridan's not playing checkers, he's playing long game television, and we're all just now realizing we've been sitting in the middle of it.